Message from a new world I'd never known. Something about it felt like it'd been waiting my whole life. Is this home? I can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing, and suddenly it feels like heaven's not so far away. Tell me, can you hear the symphony? Panic, panic, I can't help but think that it's meant to be, that I'm finally right where I'm supposed to. If I let you into the secret, would you listen? I can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing, and suddenly it feels like heaven's not so far away. Tell me, can you hear the symphony? Panic, panic, and before too long I found where I belong. I can hear it, I can hear it, oh, I can't stop the rush. Every note I touch, I can feel it saving me. Tell me, can you hear the symphony? Started as a whisper, message from a new world I'd never known. Something about it felt like it'd been waiting my whole life. Is this home? I can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing, and suddenly it feels like heaven's not so far.
That's it. So, Adam, we got Adam here. This is, of course, session 0, our first episode. So, we have an unexpected guest joining us today. Say hey, Adam.
Oh, I'm just here to judge you all.
Yeah. If you can't tell,
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
our boy down there got himself an accent. Where are you from again, man?
UK,
Yeah, that's pretty hot, dude.
over the fucking pond.
Way over the pond.
A world away, man. All right, so let's just jump into this shit and just knock out some of the topics we were looking at here. So, yeah, I see what you're doing, Cap. I see what you're doing. I can watch you type.
Do you love me?
All right. So this new 5.5 edition that got announced. Real quick, the classes mechanics And hero classes. I know, Zach, you were talking about hero classes. I'm, not the most versed on that.
I was thinking more of it being like 3.5, and it's not necessarily just so much hero classes. It's more of it being an improvement upon the classes just as a whole. Revamping some of the classes that deserve it, kind of like how they revamped, what's the vampire module that we haven't been able to play in like
Curse of
months?
Strahd.
Curse of Strahd, thank you. Well, like they revamped Curse of Strahd. I mean, if you can revamp a whole campaign, of course you can do it to a class.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ranger being the most deserving of that attention.
Yeah, I know Lane was using that revised Ranger, I think.
I also think that Warlock deserves some extra love and care.
Yeah,
Because
some.
the way Warlock is right now, Warlock's broken.
Yeah,
In
that
both
needs-
a good and a bad way.
needs more
Yeah.
than some love, man. It needs someone to get some strong ass hands on that thing and just knead that shit out.
It's the way I imagine hero classes being. It's as a warlock, you get your features like normal, but you also get your invocations, and your invocations are such good improvements upon the warlock class as a whole. I could imagine seeing other classes getting something similar to that, because the invocations really are what break the warlock. But
Yeah, but if you
that being said,
if you start doing that, if you start doing that for every other class, though, you're gonna make Warlock completely useless.
I was fixing to say that, yeah. It really brings down what Warlock is as a class.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, too much going into one can screw over the others, like y'all are saying. As far as mechanics, what do you think that we could probably hope for, guys?
I'm hoping for a complete reconstruction of how the spells work.
What?
I think the way spells work right now are too secular, right? So almost every spell works the same. It's always a 6-second cast time. It's always what do you call it? Like
An action or a bonus action.
Yeah.
It fills in certain roles, and then it always has to be within the fray of like certain materials,
yeah,
gestures,
it's
phrases, basically. Yeah.
it's almost never a bonus action. I would love to see more bonus action spells. I would love to see charge up spells. I really want to see charge up spells that do a lot more
My
damage.
man's out here, and he just wants the fucking shouting from Dragon Ball Z as he charges up a spell.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kamehameha wave that shit.
Well, Lane, you play a lot of spellcasters. What do you think? Do you enjoy the way spells are now?
I do think the way spells work now, isn't it, what was it, Vancia? Isn't that the general feel, like you get a set amount of power to use those spells in the form of spell slots?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good method to using spells, but with that in mind, Cap did make a good point where, say you had a damage spell that wasn't just a bonus action or, an action, like just having the ability in the middle of combat to go, the risk reward here is such that I could use a spell that gives me immediate results, or I could use a spell that's going to take 2 or maybe even 3 turns, maybe maintaining concentration on casting it. You have to make those concentration checks while you're casting it.
Yeah.
To fully cast the spell, and I think that if spells were added that had that feature, it would definitely add more depth of combat than what we already have.
Yeah. Well, let me just say something real quick. Skills. Yeah, that's right, guys. I'm bringing back fucking skills, baby. Because
Oh, God.
that was, I know, I preach on this box, but that God dang, you could do so much with skills, and they retcon that shit. Just
This is the
because
hill you're gonna die on, Trey.
I will die on
These
this
fucking
hill.
skills.
I will die
He
with a
will
flag in
happily
my
hold that
hand and
flag
arrows
until he
in my back.
collapses.
Oh, hell yeah. But for
Because
real,
you've got skill monkeys now, but it doesn't feel good to be a skill monkey. It
No.
really doesn't, because everything or every class can be good at the same thing you're decent at. I mean,
yep.
it's not the same.
Not like it used to be, man. It used to be you'd have
Exactly.
somebody who they would specialize in this stuff. And sure, you could have somebody else attempt to do some of these things and they'd be moderately okay, but then you have like, the skill monkeys. These guys,
But you are the best.
yeah, you needed them to get through a lock or to find traps or to, actually ride a horse. Silly shit that you wouldn't even think about. These guys could do it all. But even though they were, just paper in combat. But then again, like I said, they can become creative in combat and make it a really fun experience when you come, toe to toe and when that initiative gets rolled. But I'm not gonna say it because I could be talking about that shit all day.
Yeah.
So
I do like Cap's idea of a rework of how spells operate. I myself with 5.5 would, like in all things, ask for clarity on a lot of spells, because there are some spells that can be interpreted differently and some spells don't have a limitation. Let me post you an example. I myself am a personal fan of being an illusionist wizard, right?
Mhm.
Because if you have such a creative mind, you can break the game to its utmost capabilities by being an illusionist. Because your spells essentially have no cap on what they are capable of.
mhm.
I mean, even a third level spell as an illusionist, you can summon a 120 diameter sphere of darkness, and if your enemies can't pass the saving throw on it, they can't see through it. But it is an illusion. And that's a third level spell as opposed to the second level spell, darkness.
Yeah.
That's only like a 20-foot radius, so 40-foot diameter.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
That can't move. It can't move unless you throw it onto something.
Mhm.
But this illusory sphere that you summon as an illusionist can move every turn. And again, if your enemies can't pass the saving throw associated with it, even when they interact with it, it specifies if they interact with it, they still have to beat your DC. And if
Yeah.
they fail, they cannot see through this quote-unquote illusory sphere of darkness. And it goes further beyond even that.
I got you.
Illusionists can break the game way more, I believe, way more than any other class within the game, simply because there is no clarity within the power of certain spells.
Gotta be honest,
Which
I
I'm
never
hoping-
really played
ahead.
illusionists like at all, man. So I actually do not exactly know what you're talking about as far as their capabilities, just because I personally never played one.
They are very powerful, way more powerful than any other class could hope to be, simply because the amount of battlefield control you have is unmatched, and the amount of advantages you get over your opponents makes a humongous difference. You can almost prevent an entire in higher level play. You can prevent entire swaths of armies from being able to reach you at any given point. I mean, I'm not joking about this. It's very broken.
Well, there's a lot that I know that we all kind of hope that they do with 5.5, bringing back skills. But y'all know that apparently Wizards is supposed to be doing the gaming company thing, and their first thing that they're going to be dropping is like what, G.I. Joe, or that's some shit they're working on. Being Wizards is owned by Hasbro. I guess that makes sense, but there's a lot more potential in other areas.
I'm gonna be real, that G.I. Joe thing sounds like fun. I loved G.I. Joe as a kid.
Who didn't, man? Any boy back then.
I had this awesome Cobra Commander toy with like the fucking airplane. I'm
Cobra!
playing as G.I. Joe things.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe is fucking dope.
Really?
But
Even in
based on a D20 system.
yeah, so even in the UK it was big.
Not really.
Yeah, I was wondering, man, because I thought GI Joe was like all American, soldiers.
It
and-
really, really is. Yeah, it's a lot of that, like patriotism, man shit, and stuff like that. The thing that I had as a kid was Action Man.
Oh my god, fucking Action Man! Jesus
Action
Christ!
Man?
Yeah,
I don't know anything about Action Man.
What?
Neither do
It's like
I.
when Great Value has to come up with like a title for like their food or some shit.
Oh shit, man!
That's
Oh my god!
interesting.
But I would love to see.
Definitely.
I would love to see them do some stuff like. Do y'all know what Mask is?
Mask.
Nope.
So Mask is a toy line very similar to G.I. Joe, except it's like these guys who would wear these masks, and each mask had a name. It'd be like Venom or something like that, or so they would each have the different name, and they would grant or do unique abilities and stuff. But Mask also had like vehicles that could transform into other vehicles and stuff, and they were like soldiers and agents and shit like that. And
Is it M.A.S.K?
maybe I think so. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking at here.
That just sounds like Transformers with extra steps.
Yeah, right.
It's Transformers with extra cars.
Yes, that's what it was all about, man. But of course, it's Hasbro. Sell the merch, man. But Mask was pretty fucking cool. And I would love to see them, because they've done some stuff with comics where Mask and G.I. Joe, like, I think there was like some crossover stuff, but it was like a one hit or like a couple of one shots, But, I mean, I would love to see some stuff, them bring that back. That'd be pretty cool. Now, I'm concerned, though, with their company that they're going to screw over us as far as the D&D side of things, because we all saw what the hell happened with Dark Alliance.
Yeah.
They had fun with Dark Alliance, although I will admit it was an entirely broken piece of garbage.
Thank you.
Actually, it
It's
seems
a hack and
or
slash,
feels,
but it's very, very, very poorly made.
Oh my god, yeah,
it
dude.
feels almost like they made it and then left it to be.
Yeah.
It's what it almost feels like.
Have they
didn't even
updated
go
it
through
at
a
all?
quality control group.
I don't know, actually. I don't know if they updated it. I'm still playing it. I'm all the way to Icewind right now. And
I'll check right now.
Just-
I'll see if they updated it.
I'm checking.
yeah, just getting to that point.
Log or an update log.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
getting to
that's
that point for me was a goddamn nightmare, because like the combat is okay. I get it's a hack and slash. I don't agree with that. I'm like, it's D&D, maybe along the lines of like old school Baldur's Gate or something like that would have been fucking awesome. And that's I think what we were all kind of expecting. And then when they came at us with like, nope, it's gonna be more like Destiny. You're gonna have to farm your gear and shit like this.
There's a
Sorry,
mess about
did you play any of the previous Dark Alliance games?
Yes, I did. But
Right, those are the same kind of things as what I was expecting. Maybe not as much focus on story from the trailers,
yeah. Oh yeah.
but that kind of system where you'd level up and get feats and everything.
Yeah, but it wasn't that.
In
It was
that
you.
kind of way, but instead it was just like I get from looking at the comparison of how the enemy like AI worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost stayed the same as the version from the PlayStation 2.
So,
Considering the amount of time between them is quite impressive.
They brought back the
considering
same
that
AI.
fact- Considering that fact and harping along, it vastly stayed the same. According to the changelog within Dark Alliance and Wizards website for it, there have only been 4 announced updates that have taken place, which is version 1.16, 1.17.85, 1.18, and 1.19.531. I'm assuming everything before 1.16 were just a bunch of hot fixes. But those are the only 4 recorded patches to the game since the release date.
There's an upcoming update on September 21st.
All right, fingers
Wait,
crossed.
upcoming? What the fuck is wrong with me?
Wait,
we're-
we're coming for September 21st. Like,
I'm sorry.
upcoming as in they've announced it
he
11
must-
months in advance.
No, yeah, he must be meaning next year. He forgot to leave out the 2022
Oh,
part.
No, I'm sorry. For some reason, I misread this. So the last update was September 21st.
Yeah, and
It looks rather big, but it mostly looks like balancing rather than
Oh.
improvements.
they just need to fix the bugs, man. Like, look, if I'm trying to fight somebody and I'm pointing my joystick in a direction, it shouldn't be about the camera angle. Because in the
There's the general bug fixes. There's a huge... Okay, I was wrong. There's a huge list of general bug fixes.
just hit me with a couple of them. What do they got?
Let's see. Player character can no longer get stuck out of bounds jumping off of a shrine area into a wall in the Goblin Shard. Allies revived with Caddy Bear's Resurrection ability are now...
He said Caddy Bear.
Okay, hold on. Katie Bree, real quick, I do want to say this. Because there's a lot more than just the gameplay that was fucked with that game. The goddamn lore. They gave him... I mean, you can get... Okay. How many of y'all have read the Dritz books?
None.
You know I have.
Okay. Adam, have you read the Dritz books?
No.
Okay. They get, like, a lot of his shit wrong. And that pisses me off to, like, no end. They got it wrong for, like, everybody. But Dritz has some of the simplest stuff. Like, so a Drow's innate ability to do a Globe of Darkness apparently can fucking hurt people now. And it just shoots forward like a goddamn rocket in the ground. You know, stuff like that was stupid as fuck to me. Also, the fact that you can do a Cloak of Daggers out of the gate, pretty much, was dumb as fuck. When the hell could he have done Cloak of Daggers? I have no idea. But apparently he can now. And if they want to bring up the fact that Dritz was a wizard, he was a wizard in, like, book 30-something when he finally starts, like, learning magic. You know? It's
This
just...
is all in the midst of Krishinabon.
Yeah, oh my god.
Fucking the midst of fucking Cinnabon?
Krishinabon is the crystal shard,
The
yeah.
mists of the Cinnabuns.
Yes, the Cinnabuns.
What a sticky
He's after
situation.
the fucking Cinnabuns.
They're after my big goods.
But no, like I get what you mean, Drake, because I've read the book. But basically, what you're explaining is the fact that they combined a lot of Dritz's story elements and smushed them all into one era of time, which I can very minutely understand in terms of a video game standpoint. But at the same time, there's a lot more you could have done with Dritz's base kit of him at this point in the story being a ranger.
Yeah.
More than anything. After training with old Montoya for a while, and then...
Yep. Fighting Maliki.
You know, yeah.
There's a lot with that I could preach about this crap all day long, man. There's so much stuff, like you said, that's exactly what they did. And what it looks like from the outside looking in, it might not be this way, but from the outside looking in, it was a bunch of game devs who were like, oh my god, we get to make a D&D game? What about Dritz? Everyone loves him. We don't know shit about him. We read the first 3 books, but what else can we look on Google and find? And like, oh, he's a wizard? Well, wizards can cast spells. A bunch of bullshit. So it's all fucking stupid how they handled that. And the whole the whole thing.
Sorry, but
yeah, man, the whole thing.
You're feeling they didn't pull in anyone to actually reference stuff. They just did the equivalent. Oh shit! I've got an exam that needs in the next day.
That's what it feels
just
like.
Google it and copy that shit.
Hell yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. And you know, on top of that, but the game was so buggy apparently when it dropped. I mean, even now playing it, I fall off ledges way too much because the X button doesn't goddamn work. The cross button doesn't work when I'm trying to jump. I mean, like, the jump box is so shitty. There's a lot of bugs, even with that. So I'm constantly dying just because of glitches. But, buggy games and all this stuff, you know, seems to be the norm nowadays, doesn't it? And then we rely on patches. Zach brought up something before that was real interesting. And what was it that you were saying, man? It was...
So most of the time, it's really harping on the topic of where does the blame lie when it comes to video games being released or video games being played. I personally feel that the blame for buggy, bad, whatever you want to call them, games on release, the blame lies within. In a minor form, it lies on the players. Because players nowadays, if you look at the video game market, is very demanding, and you have to appease your customers, otherwise you're not going to make money. And so you're having to put these games together, you're having to develop them, code them, whatever you've got to do, faster and faster and faster, to the point to where you're ignoring a large part of your game, which is terrible, in order to get the game released to the gamers who are just very demanding. I've been demanding on certain games. This is just the nature of wanting to play these games because you feel that they're great. But in turn, it is partially my fault for wanting, for having the game being buggy or the game being bad on release, because they want my money in all sense of the term. Now, the major part of the blame lies on the business end of video game development, because all it takes is for one business to go, no, fuck you guys, we're going to take as much time as we want on our game, and you can wait, because you're going to buy our game one way or another, which is the truth. It doesn't matter how demanding gamers are nowadays. If you straight up tell them, we're going to work on this game for as long as we feel is necessary, then they'll do it.
Yeah, what are they going to do about it?
Exactly, what are they going to do about it? There's nothing they can do about it, and they'll whine for a while. I'll give you an example. That's the way it is with Elder Scrolls 6 right now. Elder Scrolls 6 is not coming out for a long fucking time. We have been explicitly told that by Bethesda, and they didn't say it so much as like, hey, fuck you, it'll come out when it comes out. It was more of, listen, it's going to take a while, you're going to have to deal with it. And people accept that.
They will accept it, but there's a couple of things with that I feel like are good comparisons as well for it. So, specifically with Elder Scrolls 6, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's partly to do with the fact of what's gone on recently with Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got picked up by Microsoft, yeah?
Yeah.
Microsoft have told them we can't have it as buggy as your games tend to be on release, and it needs to look better, right? And straight away, what that then has done is immediately told Bethesda that their engine doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
They're having to build a completely new engine because of the way their games work. They were working on that old Game Bio engine for fucking Morrowind, yeah? And they just kept tweaking it to do the stuff they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But they've reached a point of limit with it of where they can't put in better textures and stuff. They can't make the physics work as well without it taking a ridiculous amount of time to load and chewing up so much hard drive space.
Yeah.
So part of it has been, I think they've spent a good year and a half, 2 years building a new engine.
Well, what is your opinion on this, Lane? I'm curious.
Yeah.
I do think that, the majority of the blame should be on the business side of things, just because I feel like it's easier for them to make money by artificially hyping something up or having a title that people associate with fond memories of, like, maybe their childhood, or there was a game that they really enjoyed from that series, because when that's the case, people are going to buy it regardless. No one's going to
Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, no one's going to say, hey, this came out a bit too fast, until they play it and figure out that it's broken and shitty and
it did come out too fast.
And, all these sort of things. Only at that point will they be like, oh man, they should have play tested and they should have spent more time on it. Well, they weren't saying that when they were like, please release the game, I want to play it.
Exactly. And
both people's parts.
And my whole point on this, because this is something that I really am heated about, is the fact that people blame the game developers for the game being buggy and the game being bad on release. That's not their fault. They deal with what they are given in the time span that is demanded of them, and that's all they can do. There's nothing more they can do about it. There's nothing more they can say about it, because it all lies on the business end of, this is your release date. Have it finished and playable by this date. We'll fix the bugs later.
You are saying that, Zach, and for a lot of big companies that is the case, like CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
The big execs told them it comes out on this date.
I hated
Even though
that.
the programmers are like, this shit don't work. Looking at PlayStation 4 and the hot garbage it was, this shit don't work.
I will say this. I
But
played it on
they still have
PS4 with no issues, except I think it crashed like 3 times. Besides that, I had no issues, man.
Was that PC?
No, man, PS4.
PS4.
I mean, I told
PS4.
everybody that. I'm like, hey, man, I was like, I mean, I'm sure it's...
Which PlayStation, sorry? Which PlayStation do you have, yeah?
It's the,
got
what was
Pro?
it? No. I do not. No, I do not have the Pro. It's like old school PS4, man, like when it first
It's
dropped.
like
It's not a
Gen 1.
Slim, is it?
No,
Because
it's
I think
not.
those were the ones that were breaking it.
No,
It's a Gen 1.
yeah. It's and
It's a Generation
only
1.
thing I got on there,
PS4.
man, I've just got extra hard drives on there, so I got like a couple 4 terabyte hard drives on it.
Fair enough, then. It's just it did break some of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and
it's
having
some
those extra hard
companies,
drives.
'cause there is
Go ahead,
one
go ahead.
I've thought of now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I can't think of the company name off the top of my head. People that did Divinity Original Sin 2.
The beautiful, beautiful
Oh.
game it is.
But the group that did that, Larian Games, that's it,
Yes.
got pulled in for Baldur's Gate 3.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a company that has literally told their players, it's not going to be ready. We hear you, we know you want it, but we can't release it now.
I love that.
And I am like, as much as part of me is, please, I want to play this fucking game, I know straight away, if it's terrible when it comes out, I'm not going to want to keep playing it.
Exactly.
So I'm fine with waiting for it, even as painful as it is, looking at it, and from my own experience with Divinity Original Sin 2, how good that was, and seeing Baldur's Gate 3 could be that, but D&D skinned. You know, I'm really looking forward to it, but I am fine to wait for it if it works well.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
because you're going to get
Absolutely.
more consistent playtime out of the player base if it's good on release.
Part of the reason they've got away with that is they're being open with their customers, you know, the player base,
Mm-hmm.
and the managing company is giving them that extra time, because a lot of big companies now, their departments are based around like the budgeting. If they take too long to make it and the budget goes too over,
Mm-hmm.
some companies are just shut them down and pass it over to a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what this brings about is also the other big like stigma that's been going around for like the past couple of years, but it's the whole entitlement that people, you know, devs and stuff want to say. And I'm not going to say just devs, you know, in general, it's kind of a mix, you know, bag here, but should us as consumers have some form of entitlement to a franchise that's been out for as long as, you know, D&D or even Divinity or anything that's been out, like Resident Evil, and you know, we're like, hey, this isn't the Resident Evil we grew up with, I just don't want to buy it. And then they get pissed off and be like, no, you need to buy it because it's such and such and it's such and such. And we're, you know, I think there should be some form of actual entitlement, because we are the ones spending our money. If, you know, if we don't see what we liked, if this isn't the game that we remember, you know, then we shouldn't have to, you know, put our down on money and call ourselves a fan. You know, we can still be fans and not like the new shit coming out.
You know, I think it's a
Call of
complex relationship, honestly.
It really is.
In my personal opinion, I think it goes both ways. I think the consumer is entitled to a game that is good. That doesn't mean that it's the game that they grew up with or the game that they preferred. I think it should be good without having any bias towards it. You can say a game is good, you know, if you have, I guess, enough emotional maturity
Yeah.
and still not like the game. But on the flip side, I think that every game that is created and is made to be bought by a consumer is kind of like a gift, right? It's a gift in the sense that they don't need to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I want to
Well-
harp a little bit more on the way he described it, because I think I have a better way of describing it.
I was going to
The
say,
fact-
I'll let you go, Zach, but if you don't cover the thing I'm thinking of, I'll speak
Okay.
about
Because the better way I have of imagining it or describing it is the fact that, like, yeah, you can enjoy a game or franchise, or you can enjoy something that the devs have made and be a consumer for it, or not, because you don't feel as if it is something nostalgic or it's not something that ties in with your childhood or what have you. But on the same side of the coin, or a different side of the coin, I should say, it's not always the game's responsibility to be that game that you once knew and played. It's not always the case. And that's just something we have to deal with as consumers. We're never going to get everything that we want. We're never going to be happy with everything that we are looking at.
Yeah.
To give an example, this is the biggest example that I can ever offer. World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft has gone so far downhill. It's still nostalgic to me, and Lane can agree with me on this. It is so nostalgic to me because I played it all through my childhood. I had played it for 13 years, and I quit because it's not appealing to my sense of, not necessarily nostalgia, but the way the game was played years ago. But it's not the game's responsibility to be played that way anymore.
But-
the game has evolved. The game has changed.
But that's what you should have, is the freedom of choice as a consumer to say, this isn't what I wanted, so I'm not going to play it. So they shouldn't get mad because you said that, which is the whole like stigma that's been coming up, is they are getting mad, especially god dang Twitter, the fucking cesspool of the world, you know, and you see these people preaching that bullshit where they're like, you know, why aren't you buying it, you know, or it's stupid.
They should be allowed to get mad, though. They should be allowed to get mad, is
Not
my
at you.
opinion on that, because it's, like I said, it's not the game or the developer's responsibility to make it play the same way you want it to be played. Like I said, it evolved, it changed, it
Yep.
adapted to the modern way games are played or the world sees it be played.
I think we're agreeing on that. I think we're agreeing because I'm saying that these devs and stuff are getting mad at the consumer because they just don't want to put in. For instance, you said you backed off, right? You backed off and stopped playing for a while.
No, I've quit WoW completely.
So
I'm not going to expose myself here, but I quit playing Blizzard Entertainment's WoW.
beautiful, well said, guys. But
But Adam, you were going to say something. What were you going to say, Adam?
My comparison I was going to make is more along the lines of, like, you're covering it fairly well, but it's like, it's not quite a gift, as Lane phrased it. Yeah, it's you're buying a product.
Mhm.
So a good comparison for it is you're looking at picking up a fucking washing machine, yeah?
Mhm.
And you've always had for like 5 years the same brand. And then suddenly the only one they're selling is like 2 times as big. So it ain't gonna fit.
Mhm.
And it's a different colour, and it's like, this is what people want now. They want to get it all done in one go, and it's like, no, I don't.
yeah,
So it's like, I'm not going to buy that one anymore.
but then what's
Even though I did previous, but it's
What's-
you're buying a product, as they might change what they're trying to sell
yeah.
to try and appeal to their market in a different way or something. I'm not going to buy it if it's not what I want.
Yeah, and the whole thing I was just getting at is I just don't think that they should get mad at the, you know, us for not wanting
Sales
that.
are down. Why aren't you buying our stuff?
Exactly. Because
I
it's
don't want it.
just not what I want. Which
Yeah.
we should have our own entitlement to that. So, you know, that entitlement exists. It's going to always exist because we are the consumer. And if the consumer doesn't see what they wanted, then they're going to find it somewhere else.
Or buy a different one, different brand. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really all I was getting at on that. Now, another thing, though, that I want to bring up is our dear Cap up above us.
Hello there.
This was, 2 weeks ago, you had an encounter that was kind of odd.
Oh no.
I would love for you to tell Adam this story, because he wasn't there for that.
Okay, so You know how we were playing D&D the other day, Adam, and my
Yeah.
character's arm got ripped off. Very
Yes.
sad. Everybody's gonna miss Snippet's arm.
You say that, and I thought it was fucking hilarious, but go on.
And then Zuli died.
And then another character fucking died, was
Yeah.
eaten by the glorious Fat Eric.
Yes.
The shark.
Very sad. I had this brilliant idea. I was going to call a psychic, the worst rated psychic around my place, and pretend that my friend Zuli had just died to see if I could get a message from Zuli from the other side. While I was in the process of researching this, I found the worst rated one. Her reviews are fantastic. One of the guys is like, yeah, I met the psychic, and they were the most rude person I've ever met in my entire life. Absolutely awful. Their office was terrible. And their comments, they're like, are you sure we've met? I don't have a physical location here on Earth. I am astral. You come to me when you need people to talk to the other side. I never talk to you, sir. And I was like, this person is absolutely insane. And then they linked a website. So I took a look at their website, and it talks about how they don't live here on Earth. They're an astral being who talk to goddesses on a daily basis. And as I was looking more and more into it, I realized that they had a big blog, and the blog talks about how they try and have gatherings at their house to worship this being they call the goddess. And this is 30 minutes away from my house, so I'm tempted to show up to one of these cult meetings and listen to what she has to say about the goddess. And
Right, this. So I had heard the first part of that story before, so that's where the cult came from.
yes,
I was like, you joining a cult? What?
so I'm really tempted to show up to one of these meetings and record my experience.
You might have to. They might not let you record it.
Yeah, they're gonna out you, man.
I'm gonna
So you're gonna have to fucking get the whole
Yeah.
concealed camera for your pocket or something.
Yeah.
Or button camera.
I
Captain
wouldn't mind
Bond
spending
here.
a little bit of money
He's wearing a wire.
investigating a cult. Just a real cult. It's just
What's
just
gonna-
cross out.
He's gonna go
You're gonna
in.
end up dead, like in
Dead
He's
on
gonna end up fully dead. They're gonna
No,
find him just drained of blood.
no, he's gonna go in and think he's gonna come out, fine, but he's gonna come out with pamphlets and shit and try converting all of us.
He's converted.
No, you guys don't understand. The goddess, she's actually pretty cool.
I
Just
told her
my
my
ass.
with her.
He's an imposter.
Lane's
You
go-
look and my eyes are brown, and you're just like, wait a minute.
Lane's the first to go.
Wait a minute. They exterminate you and drink your Kool-Aid.
I mean, if they have I don't know, casual Fridays and Taco Tuesdays, you'll get me. If they're cool with it and they're like, yeah, we talk to astral, beings and goddesses and shit, I'll be like, I mean, everyone has their thing,
Yeah. Listen, that cult leader, she's looking pretty cute. I don't know.
She might be
no.
onto something.
Well, a lemmy smash for the goddess.
Oh, that shit looks pretty cute. You're just looking at a picture of a constellation.
Orion's belt, they're just like, that's a dude, and I'm just like,
Look
okay.
at the lines on that thing.
Look at that belt.
Oh, look at his
Damn, girl,
belt.
you shine with those stars.
I'm sorry, what is this, the Huntress? Hmm.
So,
Mm-mm.
so guys, how much have y'all looked into the whole Twitch leak that happened?
I'm looking
There's
at
so much money.
There's a lot of money in that shit.
Isn't that's fucking hot? I gotta say, guys, that was pretty awesome.
There's a lot of layers to it. I've watched a lot of analysis videos, and it in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at this list, most people don't make it past the top 50.
Not us.
We're looking through top 50 names. This is just how much they make. They made in between, what was it, 2019 and 2021?
Yeah, 2 years I think or something.
So 2 years or something like that. They're like, okay, yeah, I recognize some of these names. And they get into the names that they don't recognize, they lose interest. The best analysis video that I've seen, and I'm just going to shorten it up here, is they took the average living of a family, two partners, two children, and divided it up. They did the calculations. They did the money. It became what's the word I'm looking for here? Started going into the negative around the 75th streamer, somewhere around there. Is where you started dropping into the negatives, where you were losing money more than you were making money. And that leak had what, a thousand? No, I'm way over exaggerating. I'm sorry. It was somewhere in the thousands of the stream, like the 1,000th position or something like that, somewhere around there. Out of 8 million streamers, out of 8, you got to think. 1,000 people can afford the average wage for living for a family of 4 by themselves. 1,000 out of 8 million streamers. That's how many people are successful on Twitch.
That's so low.
That's how many people. Yeah.
But
that's how many people can make a living off of Twitch.
But
and that is what.
I was going to say,
less than 1%.
Yeah, I was going to say, but let's say, everyone else, let's say they have a full-time job and they just do it on the side or something. I mean, it's good pocket change, too. It depends, because I've given streaming a shot on Twitch. I have. It is difficult. It is very difficult because the first, it could take somebody years, depending on how popular they are. First, you have to get Twitch affiliate, and you have to get Twitch partnership. That's when you start kind of getting Twitch affiliate is where you start getting your ads in, or sponsors and stuff like that. Okay, that is what it is. Twitch partner is where you start getting, I think, AdSense on your videos, and half your subscriptions go to Twitch, and blah 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 blah. It's still, you have to think, you have to climb through over 7,999,000 people to be considered successful on Twitch. That is ridiculous. That's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Well,
and to be completely honest about it, Twitch is just as bad as Twitter to me. There are internal politics. There are ass backwards policies. Yeah. There are. It's just like Twitter. They cater to whatever they want to do.
One viewpoint,
and they ignore everything else.
Yeah. I will say, if you do what you love, it's not a job. And I think really getting into it. I think most of those people on there probably just do it because they like it, because it's fun, because I like gaming, and I think that's how it should be.
Gaming or whatever avenue they do, yeah.
Well, excuse me, guys. I'm trying to be positive about it. Hell, that's why I started my YouTube channel. I love this shit.
But it's like if they do the just chatting streams, they like to just chat with random people.
Random people, but you got to think as well. This is still very much a job for them. For streamers, even if they love it, it's still a job. It's still a paycheck.
It's for some of them, absolutely, but it's like the whole thing of have you found a job you love?
Yeah.
Because if you do find a job you love doing, is it a job?
Then here's the thing. I mean, obviously they're getting paid to do all this stuff, right? So what happens when they lose out on 25% of their pay? Are these people really going to continue doing what they're doing simply just because they love it? They still have to sustain a lifestyle. And if you permanently have your pay cut by 25%, you're going to start looking at other options. Which is what has happened. It has already happened. Now, it's not happened because of pay cuts. But you look at people like Tim the Tap Man, who is now signed on over with YouTube. You look at Valkyrie. who has done the same thing. You look at Dr. Disrespect, who was banned from Twitch.
He's suing
and he's
them.
on a lawsuit right now. He is
Yeah.
suing the shit out of them because he lost money. Because he lost money.
Yeah, well, he did it full time. That's, like you said, there's what, 8? How many? 8
million.
So I'm sure out of all of them, the ones who are still sticking to it and still doing it on the lower end and not making money, they're just doing it because they like it. They're I would like to think that. Now the high end, I understand it becomes a lifestyle, and they have to do it. Like you said, they have commodities now. They have employees. Some of them have employees. They have businesses. They do merch. They do all kinds of stuff, and that does become a full life. It becomes a career, and some of them even go competitive. The 8 million, though, the other 7, or I'm sorry, 7.9, whatever the hell the number is, that are left.
99,000.
Yeah, that are left over. There's got to be a large amount of them who are just streaming because they like to stream, and they might have a couple people join who they talk shit with, while they game. Just in trying to live a fun life when they have time off from work. I would like to think that. And I like that.
You know me, I'm a fucking cynic. And,
I know.
And I'm a realist. And
that's why we love you.
Most of the time, I feel what these people are trying to do. Don't get me wrong. There are people who do it because they love it. That is perfectly fine. But a big majority of them are like, look at how much money or look at how well this person lives. I want to aspire to be that kind of person. If I can do that through streaming, might as well give it a shot.
Yeah. I want that kind of money. Yeah,
exactly. And unfortunately, most of them aren't going to make it. Most of them aren't.
That's the same with jobs then, my guy. For a lot of jobs now, it's like, I want to start off in this area, and I want to climb up to become the boss. That's my goal.
Yeah.
In streaming, it's you doing the same thing over and over until you get successful, or you don't. Whereas in standard employment, it's like you start off at the bottom of the ladder and you get promoted and all sorts of shit.
Yeah, but the big difference, obviously, is with streaming, you're your own boss.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of determination rather than...
It's like if I said I wanted to start my own business.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with nothing. I'm going to have to basically do it as a part-time.
Yeah.
And then if it gets more and more successful, more people hear of me, more people then hire me to do stuff, I can slowly move off doing my actual job, my 9 to 5, into doing more of myself employed.
I do want to say, though, and I do want to put this out there, the number 1 streamer on Twitch, Amaranth, she is a bad bitch. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing.
A lot of them do.
Is she the number 1 streamer? Is that right?
Yes.
I knew she was the number 1 for OnlyFans. I didn't know she was the number 1 streamer.
I'm pretty sure she's the number 1 streamer. I mean, I can look at it.
Critical Role was up there.
I thought the Ludwig.
Critical Role is up there too, and Ludwig is up there.
Ludwig,
too.
I think, is 6 or 7.
I think he's number 6. I know because Miss Giff is number 24, and they were talking about it and joking on each other. Either way, she's up there. Is my point. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to, and I'm not calling her manipulative, but she knows how to manipulate her. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to say community because it just sounds terrible. It's a terrible
fans.
Customers.
Her customers. Yeah, she knows how to manipulate her customers to the point to where she's making a lot of fucking money.
Right. So
and rightfully so.
The example you're making here, my guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As bad as it sounds, the comparison I have for it is it's like the the people that literally have to sell stuff. Yeah. They work at a desk or not a desk, like a kind of stall in a shopping center, trying to sell perfume or sell watches, sell phones, all that kind of stuff, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
They need to get the attention of the customer to get their interest.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of cases for that, it's the attractive ones do better.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. She is very attractive, and she is smart about it. And that's why she is extremely... I don't want to say that That's just the only reason she's, successful. She is also very hardworking.
Look, I just want to
She's
say,
very hard working, and she's got a lot of business sense from it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, look at Lane. He knows look how successful he is. He's attractive too. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It works.
You got me.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, it's the
me.
it's his secret formula, man.
My night job. We don't talk about that.
Well, we do, but just not in public.
Yeah.
Like anytime somebody talks trash about like Amaranth, though, I'm like, you need to put some respect on her name, because that is a hard-working motherfucker.
Yep.
And she is attractive, and she knows it, and she's smart about it, and she works hard for what she
From a business
gets.
perspective, she's using her assets to make money.
I'm gonna be real.
Exactly.
The only reason I even know who Amaranth is because you go on about her, and I occasionally see her pop up on Hey Money Wubby's stream.
Listen, I have this thing for redheads. Okay, I can't help
Yes,
it.
you do.
I can't
That's
help it. Redheads.
That's the infernal redhead lust.
I do. I absolutely do. Either way, we can move on from that now, but I just wanted to put the respect on her name.
You just wanted to simp, is what I'm hearing.
Whoa.
You're hoping
we don't use that word around here.
You're hoping for a crumb of... This isn't Twitch, this is YouTube.
A crumb of coochie.
A crumb of Amaranth coochie is all you're hoping
Listen.
Lord.
Yeah.
A man can dream, okay?
Well, let's bring up another streamer who is who had blown up, and he doesn't flaunt. He doesn't do any of this. Zach, I want you to take this shit away because you love this man, and I never heard of him until you explained him.
So,
Who the fuck is this?
I've seen clips of this guy on like TikTok, iFunny, it just everywhere, where it was comparing one streamer, which we'll get to that a little later, to another, and it was showing the entitlement of a streamer as opposed to somebody who genuinely enjoys just streaming, which is the topic we just got off of. So his name on Twitch, and I hate that I may be pronouncing this wrong, but his name is Brox, right? Now, Brox is an interesting fellow. He hails from New Zealand, which we always gotta love foreign accents because we're American. But his goal and what he streams about primarily is the art of Maori wood carving, and he wishes to share the knowledge about that culture. And I don't know how to say this word, Wakairo, I think. I really hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong and saying something fucked up.
Wakanda.
No, not Wakanda, damn it.
Wakanda forever.
But it was comparing the two of like I said, entitled streamer as opposed to somebody who genuinely enjoys streaming, and he blew up from that. Like the clip is shown, he's doing this wood carving. Somebody, I think, gifts him some subs, and he asks, like, is there any way I can give the money back? Like, you don't have to spend any money here. You can just come here, you can chill out, you can learn something about another culture, all the while making more friends. That is somebody who genuinely enjoys streaming. That is somebody who has a passion for it and has made it his passion through another hobby. He blew up because of that clip, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
He was also featured on Twitch's page for Australia and New Zealand, and he witnessed it. Now, this is an article I'm reading off of
Okay.
Sportskeeda or Sportskeeda. I don't know how that's said. Anyways, he
Skeeta sounds
witnessed a major upsurge in followers. In addition to his fascinating wood carving streams, he also streams World of Warcraft, which obviously I have an attachment to. And recently won over the hearts of several due to his genuinely humble personality. The dude is the most humble person I've ever met. Like, Drake, you are a humble dude. This dude is like you tenfold. He is ridiculously just very nice, very soft-spoken, but humble. Just, I want to meet this dude in real life. I really do. I want to shake this man's hand.
I love people like that, man. I really do. I hate people who like boast constantly about shit. That's
I
kind
would
of
never
stuff.
do that.
That's Well, we all know that you're a little sweetheart, such a
Yeah,
sweetheart.
but here's a quote from that stream. Here's a quote from the, like I said, where he was talking about giving the money back. He says, bro, you don't have to. Can I give the money back? You don't have to sub. You can watch this stuff for free. Like, this is the best thing you can do. Hold on to your money. Use it for your family, not me. So he's not even thinking about, oh, that's the person's money. He's thinking of your family. Like, use your money for your family.
Mm-hmm.
The thoughtfulness behind his personality is what led him to overnight popularity. As the story of his humility began to trend online, he's probably one of the only few streamers who actually encouraged people to watch for free, politely turning down gifted subs. In May, he even turned Twitch's donation button off as he felt bad taking donations from all those in duress, especially in the midst of the pandemic. People were also taken up by his genuine nature that popular streamer Panda TV gifted him a new computer.
Awesome.
Which he had tweeted about, thanking him. He's been an idol of his for a number of years. So very, very much full wholesome mode with this guy Brox. Really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't want to mispronounce it. Really cool guy though. Love his accent. Love his personality. I love listening to his stream because it's very zen. It's very soothing. Even just turning it on almost like a podcast where you're just listening to it, not even watching. Because he's telling you, while he's carving away, he is telling you about the history of like Maori culture and where it comes from, how things are represented. You know, like just the other day, he was talking about all of the different gods and how they were, what domains they lord over, and how the world was created with those gods, and this, that, and the other. It's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I love stuff like that,
But
personally.
I definitely encourage people to check him out. I don't know his schedule, otherwise I would mention it. But he is definitely one of those that I tend to watch on Twitch very often.
I gotcha. I'm definitely going to personally check him out. Lane.
Yes.
Let's see. We pretty much covered some of the topics we want to talk about right now and everything. But I just have a question for you, man. Tell us one of the most interesting stories you've had, or playing D&D on the server, on Cap server.
Oh no.
One of the most interesting D&D based stories
Oh no, don't do
on
it,
the
Lee.
server. Let's give a good think, because there are some things that come to mind, right?
Oh, no doubt.
Does it have to be D&D? We could tell him about the floor loaf.
No, we saved the floor loaf for a special day.
That's true.
Yeah, that's sacred. So D&D based, right?
Yeah, if you want now.
I wouldn't say I have any that are exceptionally wild or crazy. There are some that still bother me. Cap would know about that, so would Zach. But that's neither here nor there. That's irrelevant. But I would have to say that I'm just in a state of riding a perpetual high from the ladle.
Oh god.
It's a ladle.
Just the ladle. Just.
What the fuck does that mean?
So I feel like it would be better because it was the ladle and it was the door. It was just overall good times.
Oh, I remember this story now with the fucking well.
Adam, are you
Drake,
familiar with this?
Drake, I think you would do better since you're from the DM's position experiencing this if you were to explain it a bit better.
All right, so what it was they were trying to discover in this in a keep called Airborne Keep. They were at a well and they were trying to find any clues to solve this mystery of some disappearing people. And
we already knew shit was fucky. We were full investigator, fucking gumshoe. We were on that shit.
Yeah, and it was Zach, it was Lane, and it was Caleb. They were led to this old well in the center of the old district of Airborne Keep, which was more or less deserted. Jesus, couldn't say it, and in shambles. they come up to the well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Caleb just jumps on in, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he just jumped straight into this
He needs a
fucking well.
bath.
Not even knowing if there's water in it.
He needs a bath. Man's just like, I need the bath.
He
He
needed
didn't know
something.
there was water in it. There was no way to know.
Yeah, that's why when he did
Caleb.
it, I just physically facepalmed. I was like, oh,
That's fair. It is
That's a
Caleb.
lot of my D&D experience lately. Not just with Caleb, just with everybody. It's just...
Well,
Just adorable.
I think he was pretty hyped up about something too that happened earlier, so he just felt invincible. So, but he jumped on in, splashed around and down in the water, and I think Zach went to go save him. Is what it was,
Yeah, I
right?
did cast spider climb
Yeah.
and just walked on the side of the wall down to him.
well, did I go down at first?
Yeah, you went down 1st.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cast it on the walls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went down and you spotted the ledge. You, I think, rode down the pail, and Zach
I
let you
lowered
down.
him down on the pail, yeah.
Yeah. And so he lowered him down in the bucket that's in the well, in this big pail. And it's a large well. And inside, it's just like it's kind of falling apart and everything, but they managed to get him down there, and he spots a ledge that is more or less almost hidden lower, about halfway in this well. And he calls it, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go and investigate that. Zach is coming down to go save Caleb, who's flopping around in the water, who keeps failing on checks, and he's trying to hang on to the water, or to the ledge, or the wall, so he doesn't sink. And they get up to this door. Now, the door is a large cog-shaped metallic structure. And there's 3 layers to this door. And the first one they see is kind of like a dial. And there's 3 spinning dials on it. It's a what would you want to think about it? More like a lock.
A
And
combination lock.
I think
Was it like 873 or something like that?
759. No,
759.
753 or 759. But Zach or Lane, which one of y'all were the ones who met the first lock?
It was Lane.
I did it.
So Lane
Yeah, Lane was the one who did it.
Lane almost immediately, he was like, "Oh, what was that date that Airborne Keep was founded?" And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna put that in." And the cog slides to the side, and it reveals a secondary,
Block.
yeah, block. This one was a hole, and it was an odd shape. It was like a half a moon, a half a crescent. It was half a circle.
Yeah.
And it went deep in. And so they put their hand in there, they mess around with it. Now, about this time, Zach's up there with Lane, and so is Caleb. And they're all trying to fiddle around, trying to figure out what's going on with this thing. And they pretty much give up at a certain... putting all kinds of crap in there. They have these gems that they found earlier in the mission, and they're just shoving shit into the hole, and nothing's working. It's just...
Dicks, fingers, everything.
Yeah, they're doing it all.
Goals, it's all in the hole.
Yeah, I mean, you know how guys get when they see a hole. But so they're just putting all kinds of stuff in this thing. And nothing's working. They're feeling kind of silly. And they decide to... Wait a second. Doesn't somebody get blown back?
That's
Yeah.
or is that before? That was way later.
Okay.
Yeah, that was later.
Okay. Yeah. But they pull out, and they decide to start going back up. And then Lane thinks about something, because earlier a ladle was mentioned. There's this copper ladle that's tied off to the bucket. And he's like, "Oh, wait on a second. I know the shape of a ladle." And he's like, "I get the ladle. Does it look like the hole?" I was like, "Yeah, it looks like it might." And, it kind of has the same shape. And it also kind of rounds at the end, similar to what you felt. And he's like, "Oh, shit." And he jumps back in, and he goes right to the thing and sticks it in and turns it, and it unlocks it. And then they see the handle to the door. And
I'm pretty sure I audibly went, "The ladle."
you
Yeah,
did.
you literally said,
The ladle.
the ladle.
It was just quiet, and then Lane just over the mic goes, "The ladle!" And
Pretty much.
yeah. So they go back and they open it up and get hit with a torrent of water. which again was very humorous because I think Zach had the spider climb still on.
Yeah,
So-
and so I was just like stuck like glue to the fucking stone.
As the
But I
water
was
just
still being blown by the water, so I was just like a flag in the wind almost.
while both of them got like shot out like a goddamn cannon. Zach's just
Yeah,
getting
it was-
like bent over from the torrent of water hitting them.
And it was funny because before I realized later, we had essentially gave him was like, maybe we're not supposed to be here yet. Maybe we don't have what we need. And so we were like, all right, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, they were full on about to quit, like legitimate. They were all had like come to the assumption they were in the wrong place. Because the way I like to write my campaigns is I give them free reign pretty much to do what they need to, but I always have more than one way that they can solve the problem. And they could have solved it in multiple different ways. Like there was characters that were supposed to survive that actually died because they went the other route instead of going the way I had originally had, which is fine. It actually adds a lot of humor to what happened at the end. But other than that, I think that was a very enjoyable game. I appreciate the time, guys, on that. Everybody put into that campaign was great experience.
Yeah.
Now, I have a campaign story
Yeah,
that I would like to tell. The greatest ending to any campaign I've ever run. So, to set up a little bit of backstory, the whole point of the game was to collect the pieces of these armors that allow you to master.
Are you telling this story because I had told you about the picture I had?
No, it's because you mentioned fun stories. And this reminded me. So, eventually they end up gathering up all these pieces, and they need to fight the original creator of the armor. Now, what has happened is the original creator of the armor has created his own army of different variants of himself from different timelines. So he had there were thousands of big bad guys at the very end. So what a goblin named Jenku did was he went from different campaigns that we had all played together in the past, and he recruited his own characters as well as other people's characters. So he was going from different timeline to different timeline, gathering up himself pretty much, as well as everybody else. So we ended up with characters from World War II. We ended up with a bunch of D&D characters. We ended up with Star Wars characters, all in this huge line. And then at one point he was like, "You know what I want to do? I want to go to Zach's house. I want to go to the Jenku goes to the real world." And I was like, "You can't do that. I'm not going to let you." So instead, he decided in-game to go to my house, threaten me as the DM so I would let him go to Zach's house. So he ended up recruiting Zach with his shotgun for the end of the campaign fight. As well as, I think, a few other people from the real world.
So you had some M1 Abrams tanks as well.
Yeah, there's some M1 Abrams tanks, some Panzer Shreks. There was a bunch of Nazi zombies, I believe. There were clones from Clone Wars. Anakin Skywalker was there. It was a ridiculously stupid ending to an amazing battle.
It was so good. It was so worth it. Like I'm about to go back and pull up the photo again.
Yeah,
because it was
do
that
that.
good. Let's see here. It should be.
Oh, Ricardo was there as well. Ricardo, I think his name is Milos. It was beautiful.
it sounds majestic.
It's gonna be. Hold on a second.
I would love to see that photo again because I don't think I have the campaign saved anymore.
So I've also
I
been.
have to find it later.
Yeah,
That's fine.
So I've been. Go ahead, man.
Send
My
it
bad.
to Drake. I was gonna say we'll send it to Drake and he can put it in the description
I would love to
so
see it.
people can look.
Yeah. So I've been talking with the lead singer and the bassist of a band in North Carolina called Skies of Avalon.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, they just dropped their song Tides. And I listened to it, and actually, that's a banger. I enjoy it, especially if you're into like the '80s kind of rock sound. Definitely, and the guitar piece and the bass and drums just beautiful. Lyrics are also very well written. I enjoyed it, and they have their full album coming out next year. Well, one of the things they're doing on this album, I was talking with him, is he's working on getting the licensings right now for Comfortably Numb, and he's already sent in the request. So he's done it before. He knows how to do this. I'm got my fingers crossed for him. But he's interested in coming on as well on the podcast. I said, hey man, it's a small time thing. We're just getting off the ground. He's like, he's like, sure man, really anything. I don't mind. Advertising's advertising. So,
Yeah.
but I'll make sure I send y'all also the link to that if I didn't already send y'all the link to the song.
You have not.
Yeah, I'll make sure I send y'all the link to his song, Tides. Like I said, it's pretty good. I don't know when he's going to be releasing. I think he's releasing it mid-2022. So there's going to be a little bit of time there. But like he said, he wants to polish everything, make sure everything's good. And that's just how they do things.
Yeah.
But we're pushing probably about an hour right now.
About an hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah, I know we started this one kind of early today. We might be doing this again next Sunday. Not really sure. Maybe the same time, maybe not. It all depends on all of our schedules. So we might have to juggle it if that's fine with everybody.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Lane?
Sounds good to me.
And Adam, we all appreciate you coming on, man, and just having another body here to talk with and get some more viewpoints.
No worries. I was mainly just along the lines of I'm here to chill for a bit.
Yeah, man. How's
We
things
didn't
going?
get to talk about the extra planet,
Planet X.
but we can do that again later.
Well, hold on.
Search for
We
Planet X.
got a little bit of time. What is this whole planet thing?
Right.
You mentioned it.
So Planet X is a theoretical planet and or possible dead star that could be orbiting our galaxy. But we think... Go ahead.
Right. You're kind of right, Cap. It's planet, and it's not, really galaxy, more than our star localized. Because of consistent dimming in telescope views that have been locked out in one direction, basically they've noticed a consistent dim in other stars, and the way it matches up seems to say a rotation period of about 10 years. So it takes 10 years to do a full loop of our star.
Oh, yeah.
And they think that it might be another planet beyond Pluto, round about the length of Pluto. It's got a really large, elliptical orbit, so rather than our orbit of the star, which is really circular for the most part, we don't drift much closer or much further away. This one's a fucking oval, basically.
Which suggests that it is really, really old.
Yeah. That it basically was caught by the star, and it's just doing a really long oval around an orbit. And they think it's another planet because it's much bigger than Pluto, from what the luminosity dimming says.
What would it? How big are we talking as far as it being bigger
Probably
than Pluto?
about the size of Mercury.
Interesting.
So not Pluto sized, so it won't be a dwarf planet.
So
I think
then
it's
the
about the size of Mercury.
question then needs to be asked, why haven't we fully discovered it yet? It didn't take. I say this in relative terms, but it didn't take much from us to discover any of the other planets.
All the other planets and then Pluto and such, those were discovered because of the fact that they show up quite well eventually. There were the satellites we sent out, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2,
Yeah.
which were able to image a lot of the planets. Their orbits as well for those are more circular again.
Okay.
None are meant to be as extreme as this.
Yeah.
But then there's the fact that it's so far out for this planet, it's basically on the edge of the Oort cloud.
Ooh.
And if you're not too familiar with the Oort cloud, that's basically what we deem to be the edge of our solar system. If you hit the Oort cloud, you go out beyond the point where the radiation from our star dims to negligible.
Huh.
And the reason for that is because that's meant to be a giant cloud of asteroids around our solar system.
Mhm.
It's what would make leaving our solar system really dangerous. Because you get hit by one of them and you just you're gone. Your entire ship is gone.
You are
Really?
gone.
You hit just about anything in space and you're gone, no matter what size.
I need to try and find the picture as a reference for where, like, a 3mm sized asteroid hits a section of not the ISS, but the one that came before it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it punched a hole through, I think it was 6 centimeters of plating. And it left a crater like it had been hit from... It's comparable, I think, to like an RPG hitting tank armor.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was going that fast, it had that much momentum, it basically did the same damage as that scenario.
So, my understanding with this Planet X is that it had a 10,000 year rotation around our galaxy, and we couldn't see it because it's putting off a ton of it's not putting off, but it's got a bunch of materials around it that prevent us from seeing it very well. But the reason we know it's there is because it's fucking with the Kuiper Belt, and it's pulling objects out of the Kuiper Belt and around its orbit, as well as it's messing with the orbit of the sun. Or not the orbit, but the how the sunspots are.
Where it's meant to be based according to all the gravitational pull from the rest of the planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is being pulled slightly off, so that's why they thought of that as well.
Yeah. They also
I don't think it's 10,000 years.
Right, so it is actually. It may take between 10,000 and 20,000 Earth years to make one full orbit around the sun.
Yeah. That sounds closer to what I read.
Its hypothetical Neptune-sized planet orbits our sun in a highly elongated orbit far beyond Pluto. The object which the researchers have nicknamed Planet 9 could have a mass about 10 times that of Earth and orbit about 20 times farther from the sun on average than Neptune. The announcement does not mean that there is a new planet in our solar system. The existence of this distant world is only theoretical at this point, and no direct observation of the planet nicknamed Planet 9 have been made. The mathematical prediction of a planet could explain the unique orbits of some smaller objects in the Kuiper Belt, a distant region of icy debris that extends far beyond the orbit of Neptune. Astronomers are now searching for the predicted planet.
If it was a 10,000 to 20,000 year orbit,
That is a large-ass oval.
that is a large-ass oval, and it would be regularly going into the Oort cloud at that point.
Yeah.
So, I'd be more inclined to say it isn't a planet. I think it's just the manipulation from the Oort cloud at the distance.
Yeah.
Because there will be points where those interact and collide, shatter into smaller parts, separate, and so on.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely there's just asteroids coming in from the Oort cloud.
Huh.
Space is wild.
Space is insane, my dude. Like,
The fact
big
that nothing
worry
kills
about-
us.
yeah, there's a big worry about if an asteroid gets close enough, it could direct impact and destroy us. How are we going to defend the planet from that?
Yeah,
Laughs in Rogue Planet.
Okay, so the only way we can defend ourselves from that is by hitting it with a bomb and trying to knock it even 1 degree off of its current course.
Okay, Mr. Armageddon.
Okay, I'm gonna go. You knock it 1 degree off
Explosive-
course.
Explosive propulsion is very, very dangerous and unreliable.
Yeah, our cap here is
but
like Bruce Willis.
I feel like that's the only real fake option we got.
NASA's looking into ideas for it. The current theory to instead deal with stuff like that, Cap, is they'd shoot a shuttle towards it that has a drilling probe.
Oh my
and a
god.
bomb. They'd drill to the center of it and just blow it up from the core.
Oh my god, what movie
So
was
it's
that?
more explosives.
It's Armageddon.
That was
Yeah, but
Armageddon,
rather
wasn't
than
it?
trying to direct its trajectory with a bomb,
Yeah.
Cap, they just destroying it into a small enough pieces where it would just incinerate in our atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just-
you could do that. There is another option of I think is interesting. Whereas rather than sending a drilling probe to it, whatever, why not just send a probe to it that has enough fuel to propel it or change the direction of it through the use of propulsion?
A long burn adjustment for anything of significant mass will take a long time to do, and then you're relying on the shuttle with all the fuel actually making contact, setting up, and getting its use done.
Well,
If
yeah, I mean, but
If
you're
the
relying
shuttle
on
just
that.
fucking misses, it's just a waste.
Yeah, but then you're relying on that. The same thing with the drill probe.
Can we just focus
The thing
on
with
the
drill
fact
probe
that
is it just has enough fuel to get there. It's not carrying enough to try and long burn shove it away.
What were we gonna say, Drake?
let's take a second to really appreciate the fact that NASA just copied the goddamn script for Armageddon. Like, that's awesome. Like, were they just sitting around having like a movie night with popcorn, Netflix, and chilling?
I mean, honestly, I think Armageddon was based off of an actual IRL plan in case there was a what is it? There's a scale of dangerous on how dangerous an asteroid is, and it was like really, really high scale.
Uh-huh.
It's based off of that plan. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, either way, the comparison is just beautiful. I love that. I love that thought.
I mean, it's like one of the zombie films that came out a while back supposedly was produced as an example, like a study of what the Pentagon's plan for zombie apocalypse was.
What?
Yeah, the Pentagon.
Basically,
plan for
at
the
one point,
apocalypse.
somebody had leaked the Pentagon's plan to deal with the zombie apocalypse, yeah?
Yeah.
And straight away, somebody writ a film script out of that.
Oh, it's beautiful. I gotta
It
look
was
that up.
Zombieland, wasn't it?
It could have been Zombieland. I'm not sure.
I'm joking. I don't think it was Zombieland.
It could have been.
It was Zombieland, and then they're full on expecting Woody Harrelson to just go ham on a giant delivery truck of snowballs.
That's what I'm expecting.
I think we all are at this point. That man's an enigma.
I have one last fact before we decide to log off here.
Yeah.
Are we ready for it?
Hit me with it.
Did you know that D&D is banned in Wisconsin prisons for promoting gang-related activity?
Bullshit.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Bro, I guess we're part of a gang.
I was Googling stuff a minute ago, and that popped up in the recommended of my Google search for some reason.
When was this?
Let me check. D&D controversies. This was back in early 1980s.
Still making sure my sound is working.
Oh, so that's back when like people were, oh my god, it's all devil worshipping bullshit.
Satanic Panic.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
still
sense.
a thing in Kentucky, though.
Is it?
Yeah, the Satanic Panic is still a really big thing in Kentucky.
So like,
now.
if we went there and they saw a 5th edition book or 3rd edition book in our hand, they would burn us at the cross.
Yeah, more than likely.
Amino, latire.
You were to just start singing to us in Latin.
That's not real Latin, unfortunately.
There's an article from 2010 in January of that year where the court upheld the prison ban of Dungeons and Dragons in Wisconsin.
Damn it.
They
Poor Wisconsin
rejected-
prisoners.
They rejected inmate Kevin T. Singer's claim that the ban on the popular game violated his constitutional rights to free speech due to due process and equal protection.
You lose free speech in jail, or especially in prison.
And instead, the inmate Singer played D&D since childhood, and he challenged the ban after guards at the Waupoon Correctional Institution confiscated his D&D materials, including 21 books, 14 magazines,
Oh,
and a 6-page handwritten manuscript he created for the game.
whoa!
What a travesty.
And the prison officials imposed the ban after receiving an anonymous letter from an inmate who was worried that Singer and 3 other inmates were forming a D&D gang.
That's
got
amazing.
snitched on
What the hell?
playing D&D.
What little
That
bitch snitched on
Fucker
him?
got snitched
Lane.
on for playing D&D.
Lane, does it say what that guy was in prison for? Like,
No, but I like to imagine it's something especially heinous, and he's just like, I just like D&D. I killed a couple kids, but I really like D&D though.
that's what we hope
I
for.
burned down
right?
that orphanage, but I did D&D.
Yeah.
21
apparently,
books.
Captain Bruce Muraski told Singer, which is the inmate,
Mm-hmm.
that he could no longer play the game because, quote, it promotes fantasy role-playing, competitive hostility, violence, addictive escape behaviors, and possible gambling.
Oh my god.
That's why I play D&D, boys. I'm gambling.
I do.
Yeah,
It,
always
I do it for the
played
escape.
I'm always gambling with the D20.
I'm always
Well,
gambling
I've
with my
always
fucking
wanted to be part of a
sanity.
gang.
Imagine
Bro.
how they got their dice in.
Oh, the Silver Eagle? We're a gang now.
I just want to
Yeah,
imagine
we
how
are.
they got their dice in. Like, did they just like suitcase it, or did they like make it themselves?
I don't know.
Like out of soap?
Apparently, the judge said that the ban is not unyieldingly categorical as Singer makes it out to be, but that they suggested alternative strategy games like Risk and chess.
What a fucking pleb. What
God,
a absolute just old man who's
that
like,
judge.
you should play an intellectuals game like Risk. What a
To be
fucking...
That
fair,
man went
I
home and
love
played
Risk.
Yahtzee with his
Risk is
5
so much
kids.
fun.
That man went home, played Yahtzee with his 5 kids and his Mormon wife.
Good lord.
This is the kind of fun he could be having.
God
You could be
dang it.
playing D&D.
Oh man.
That's why I love playing D&D. I want to be in a gang.
I made the official announcement we are now a prison gang on our Discord.
Yes, good.
Initiation process is rough.
We're gonna have to
It's-
come.
You have to kill at least one NPC in D&D that you
Gotta
probably
shank
shouldn't.
them.
You have to
No,
shoot.
you have
Yeah.
to kill at
shoot
least
'em.
one PC.
Oh, I believe somebody in this room is responsible for the death of the PC recently.
Definitely not me.
Not naming any names, Zach.
Listen, I will die on that hill.
You
I
killed
almost did.
Zuli.
Oh, Terry the Fat Shark killed Zuli. I simply sped her in delivery. I delivered her
It
like a
wasn't Terry the
fucking...
Fat Shark, it's Fat Terry, come on. That is literally
dead.
the title.
He's not dead because he jumped off a building. He's dead because he hit the ground.
Yeah.
No, I delivered Zuli pretty much on a silver platter, like full-on dinner and a show.
Zuli fucking
like,
delivered herself, what the fuck do you
that's,
mean?
that's true, but I helped.
Zuli fucking shanked the shit out of a shark that was in a staring
Oh.
contest with her.
So
Yeah,
wait,
but I
the steak walked out of the kitchen essentially, jumped onto the table, and then Zach was like, "Hold on, let me garnish this real quick."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle some, some Salt Bay. Fucking, just let me do this real quick.
Pretty much that's what happened. For giving the short version.
Well,
Anyway, I think that's a good story to end it off on.
yeah, I
Yep.
agree, guys. Hey, it's been awesome. Hopefully we do this again next week. If we can't do it around the same time, there's nothing wrong with that. We'll figure something out, guys. Adam, I appreciate you coming in, brother.
It's been a good show, yeah.
Come join us
Yeah.
next time, and for every other time after that.
Yeah,
If
guys.
you're doing times like this, I can easily jump in for now, anyway.
Join
Like,
us.
this Sundays, yeah, no, it's fine. I can do
Join
this.
us.
I love it,
Join us.
guys. Well, other
Join
than that,
us.
Join us.
Join us.
Started as a whisper.
Goodbye, everyone.
I don't want to hear any more about that buffoon cross. Buffoon.
The buffoon has been...
Something about it felt like it'd been waiting my whole life. Is this home? I can hear each sound calling my name, and I feel angels around when I start to sing, and suddenly it feels like everything.